You are a little girl. A stranger is buying you off a platform in a market, the same way he'd buy a goat. You don't own your body. You don't even own your name. Whoever pays for you picks that, too. Now jump ahead a few years. That same girl is sitting on the throne of Egypt. Her name is stamped on the gold coins. Every Friday, in every mosque in the country, the prayer is said in her name. And the King of France is locked in her prison, waiting to hear what she is going to charge to let him go. So how does a girl go from the auction block to that? Let's start at the bottom, when she is nobody. Nobody even bothered to write down where she came from. That is how little she was worth at the start. Maybe a Turkic family out on the steppe, maybe Armenian. It didn't matter enough for anyone to record it. What we know is that at some point she gets taken. A raid, a debt, a war, whatever it was, one day she is a daughter in somebody's home, and the next she is merchandise. And she is a child. She gets passed up the chain, owner to owner, until she lands in the biggest household in the whole Muslim world, the palace of the Caliph in Baghdad. And there she is, just one more girl in a room full of girls, waiting to be handed out as gifts. Then one day, somebody gives her away. She is about 11 years old, and she gets handed to a young Egyptian prince named al-Salih, like a party favor. They even rename her. They call her Shajar al-Durr, which means tree of pearls. Pretty, right? It is also not a name she picked. It is the kind of name you give a thing you bought. So look at where she stands. A foreign kid in a strange country, owned by a man, wearing a pretty name somebody chose for her, with zero control over anything that happens next. That is the bottom. It does not get lower than that. So what does she do? She makes herself impossible to replace. This prince has a whole household, plenty of women, plenty of people whispering in his ear, and she becomes the one he actually trusts. Not just the favorite in the bedroom, the one he talks to about real things. When he rides off to fight, she goes with him. When he is scheming, she is in the room. And then she gives him a son, a little boy named Khalil. And that changes everything, because the mother of a prince's son is not a slave anymore. He frees her. He marries her. The girl who got sold like livestock is now the wife of the most powerful man in Egypt. And if it stopped there, it would already be a great rags to riches story. But it does not stop there. This is the part where she gets frightening, because her husband becomes the Sultan, the ruler of Egypt. And then, while he is on the throne, two things hit at almost the exact moment. One, an army of crusaders led by the actual King of France, Louis IX, lands in Egypt to conquer it. And two, her husband, the Sultan, is dying. A wound on his leg has gone bad, and he is rotting in a bed while a foreign king marches up the Nile. So put yourself in her shoes. The one man whose name holds this entire country together is about to die. There is an invading king coming, and the heir, your stepson, is hundreds of miles away. The second word gets out that the Sultan is dead, the army loses its nerve, the country panics, and the Crusaders walk straight into Cairo. So she makes a call that almost nobody would dare. She tells no one that he is dead. She keeps it secret, for weeks. She has his meals carried into his room like he is still in there eating them. She takes papers he already signed and keeps issuing orders in his name. As far as the whole country knows, the Sultan is alive and giving commands. And the person actually running a war, quietly, from behind a dead man's signature, is the slave girl from the market. And it works. The Crusaders get lured into a town called Mansurah and torn apart. And then her army does something no Egyptian army had ever done. They capture the King of France himself. Louis IX, the most famous king in Europe, a prisoner in Egypt. And now she gets to name the price. The woman who was once bought for a fistful of coins decides what a king is worth. Hundreds of thousands of gold pieces, and hand back the city you stole. That is the deal. Pay it, and you can go home. The King of France pays, and sails away with his tail between his legs. By now, the real heir, her stepson, has finally turned up to take the throne. And he is a disaster. He insults the soldiers who just saved the country. He threatens the people who kept it alive, and he makes it loud and clear that he is going to throw Shajar out. So the elite soldiers of the army, the Mamluks, do the simple thing. They kill him. And now the throne is just sitting there, empty. So they put her on it. Think about what that actually is. A woman, a former slave, the Sultan of Egypt. Not the wife of the Sultan, not the mother of the Sultan, the Sultan. They mint gold coins with her name on them, and every Friday, in every mosque in the country, the prayer that is said for the ruler is said for her. In that world, that is the loudest way there is to say one thing: I am in charge. And the most powerful religious figure in the Muslim world, the Caliph in Baghdad, hears about it and loses it. He sends back a message that says, "If you people have no man fit to rule, let me know, and I will send you one." She lasts about 80 days. The pressure is just too heavy. A woman on the throne is something the men around her cannot swallow. So she makes a move that is pure survival. She marries one of the top Mamluk commanders, a man named Aibak, and she makes him the Sultan. On paper, he rules now. Everybody can calm down, there is a man on the throne again. Except it is all for show. She married him so she could keep both hands on the controls. For years, Aibak wears the crown, and she runs the actual country from right behind him. She traded a title for the real thing, and for a few years, it holds. Then, it cracks. Aibak starts getting ambitions of his own. He decides he wants a political marriage, a fresh young wife, the daughter of a powerful ruler up north. And to Shajar, this is not just jealousy. This is the one thing she cannot survive. A new wife, backed by a powerful family, means she gets shoved aside. And a woman like her does not get to quietly retire. Getting shoved aside means getting killed. So, she gets there first. She plays sweet. She invites him in. She has a warm bath drawn for him after his game, like a peace offering. And while he is in the water, relaxed, thinking the two of them have made up, her servants come in and they kill him. And that is the moment her luck finally runs dry. Because Aibak has a teenage son. And that boy, plus the boy's mother, who was Aibak's first wife, want blood. They take her. They lock her in a tower up in the citadel, and then they send people in. Not soldiers, not an executioner. Serving women, carrying the heavy wooden clogs people wore in the bathhouse, and they beat her to death with them. The woman who set the ransom of a king, killed with a pair of bath shoes. They throw her body off the citadel wall. It lies in the ditch at the bottom for days, and it gets one shade worse. Before anyone buries her, somebody creeps down to the body, not to mourn her, but to cut the belt off her waist, because it was silk, sewn through with pearls. Even at the very end, people were still pricing her. So that is how it ends for her. Beaten with bath shoes, thrown off a wall, left in a ditch, stripped for the pearls she was wearing. About as ugly a death as a ruler has ever gotten. But step back and look at the whole life. She started as a child on an auction block. No name, no family, no country, owned by strangers. And she climbed all the way to the top of an empire. She ran a war. She captured the King of France. She put her own name on the coins and in the prayers of an entire country. Nobody gave her a single piece of it. She took it, starting from the lowest place a human being can start. And before any of them got to her, she built her own tomb, with her own name on it. And it is still standing in Cairo 800 years later. So when you look at her, what do you actually see? A jealous woman who murdered her husband in a bath and got exactly what was coming to her? The greatest self-made ruler who ever lived. A slave girl who made herself emperor and paid the price people like her always pay.